Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next ERA webinar. In this series, ERA stands for Energy Reduction Advisory. And today I have a very, very special expert with me. This is Professor Petra Molthan-Hill.
Hello.
And she's going to take it away. Petra, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Okay, thanks. Oh, wow. So I don't get any questions. Okay, then I will just say a little bit about myself first. So my name is Petra Molthan-Hill, and I have been doing climate literacy training for several years now. So I have trained Melanie, for example. I remember Melanie was in our training, but also lots of other people. And it has been actually I think haven't counted the last numbers, but it's about 15,000 people worldwide who have done it with universities and business schools, especially. But we are also doing it now with business and obviously also with schools. So we had already a pilot back in 2019, Melanie, is this right?
2020. It was 2020.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so but I think what I want to do talk about today that I'm designing now, because all these trainings have been virtual, so it was quite a time commitment from people, and obviously you need loads of people to deliver it if you do it virtual and interactive. So what I'm designing at the moment, and will be soon ready, is a course which is completely online, so you can do it in your own time. You can do it in the evening whenever you have a moment. And it's also broken down in little steps. So you can say, oh, I've done this activity and now I go to bed, or so you can break it up how you want to do it. And it's really a climate literacy training, as we have called this, Climate Solutions for a Net Zero Future. And it's really targeted to everyone, because I think everyone, whatever we are doing, whatever we are leading, whether it's a school, a university, or something else, we need to look into what are the best solutions now. And it's not to sometimes people go for oh yeah, I have heard about recycling, let's do lots of recycling containers or so. But I think it's really important that we understand what are the high impact solutions. So where do we get down the greenhouse gas emissions the most, the carbon emissions the most? And this is what this course is about, and it will actually, as for you, it will give you an idea. Okay, so do I now actually invest in renewable energies? Do I insulate? Do I do something else? Do I do something with my food waste, and so on? So it gives you all the different options. It empowers you to decide, yeah, I now understand this whole thing and I know what the right solution is. And then to communicate, we also have quite a bit on communication as well, then to communicate it to your colleagues, to your stakeholders, and so on, that they are all on board as well.
Fantastic. Now, Petra, we know that with the energy reduction grant that has been given out to all schools in England recently, the funds have gone into their accounts in December. Mm-hmm. And we're having some feedback from schools, and they're going, well, we don't quite understand what we need to do with this. So we just want them to know that some schools, primary, secondaries, were given starting at £10,000, and some have even been given £50,000 to £100,000. It all depends on your pupil count and the size of your school estate. And one of the things that's been coming in fast is, well, we don't quite know. We might just get some solar panels. And we are saying that you must have at least a foundational climate leadership training. And this is why we've reached out to Petra and asked if we can include her training, which will be delivered on Future Learn, and we can add that within our package. We've created a package for every school to get you started. Petra, why is it important for a school leader or a school leadership team to do your training? What does it deliver in the long term, not just in an energy reduction space?
Yeah, I think it's really important that you have, I mean, a lot of people have studied maybe 20 years ago or so and don't have all the, and actually, even if you study today, you won't get much at the university. So I think it's really good to understand the problem. So we have a bit on climate change science, and so that you understand why you're doing anything at all, but the focus is really on climate solutions. And I think it's really, for me, important to understand, for example, solar energy panels might not be the best. It might be a good solution for your school, but it might not be the best. There might be something else where you're actually losing much more energy, more emissions kind of. And I think what we are doing in the course is we are really kind of showing you how to do these calculations, starting from very small, like starting with an individual even, that you understand, okay, if we do food waste for one person, this is this amount. If I multiply all my pupils, for example, it will be so much more, so that we get all these calculations. But we have also very much a focus, because at the end you're also running a business as a school. So it's also showing you how can I actually make an overview, how can I make a greenhouse gas management plan, and by doing it you will then say, yes, this is the area where I have to really reduce things, or where I have to invest the money. Because I think it's really important that it's not only just paying, as like thinking of, oh yeah, how can I pay the bills now or in the next few months. It's actually how to make now put in the best solution, that you don't have to pay so much in the future, but also that you're contributing to the reduction and the reduction of global warming at the end of the day as well.
So I've always seen, I got it wrong. I got it wrong from 2018, and I've always said that I got it wrong. I thought that we only needed one climate change teacher in every school. Okay. And then we started building the leadership teams where the head teacher nominated the sustainability lead, and there's 5 support team members. And I got it wrong again. I got it wrong again. Key to the kingdom, as we've been discovering, and I should have known this, my experience as a handwriting specialist with handwriting, you first deliver the diagnostic. You first have your diagnostic toolkit, you get your survey in, which we've been working on. You've been working on that with us, with Professor Tony Cook of Nottingham and Jodie Fry at Stanford, and Kathleen from Open. And we've been alpha testing a survey so that we can assess the entire school, all school staff, teaching as well as non-teaching, what their baseline is in sustainability and climate literacy. Then you use the results of that survey from that diagnostic, you use that data to draft your school climate education sustainability policy. And you can even use that to ascertain where you are going with your energy reduction. It all fits into place. So it's just your diagnostic first, it's your climate leadership training, your training next is the most important part. Because if our school leadership team and our leaders are not upskilled to understand what they're doing and why, then it's going to be an uphill slog. And then we can't just go and hand it over to some poor silly sap in the school, say, oh, there you go, this will be your project, you deal with this. Because then they're going to go, oh, I don't quite. We're finding that the schools that have done the training with us over the last 5 years, you know, you and I worked with Claire. She was the very first school to do the carbon literacy teacher training. And what that delivered to that school, I mean, we're going back to film it, has been like an explosion that's gone off in that school.
Great. Yeah, that's excellent.
And they send me videos and I think, where did you come up with that idea? So your training, how many weeks is your training going to be for a head teacher? How many hours?
It is because it's part of a master degree, so people could actually decide they do the whole leadership degree, so it's kind of other aspects as well. But for this one specifically, it's 10 credits, equals 100 hours of learning. And which means that they have about 10 hours per week, but it's kind of a mixture of watching really interesting movies as well as doing your own research and so on. For example, we are really fortunate that we could interview last week the producer from Coronation Street, and he's actually talking about how they have tried to put climate messages in the storyline of Coronation Street. So this will be one of the tasks, to watch not Coronation Street, but to watch actually someone talking about Coronation Street. So you have your 1 hour ticked with this one kind of. So it's 10 hours per week, but we try to make it very varied. We have lots of quizzes in it, but we also have things kind of like in the carbon accounting week, really, that you make a plan for your schools. We will guide you step by step through this plan, and then hopefully by the end you can really say, oh, this is my best idea of reduction, this is the second best idea for reduction, and so on. So it will be a lot of different topics. I think it will be very entertaining. I think people will not feel as they will feel like the 10 hours flying by, but you can divide it up as you want. So if you want to do 1 hour on Monday and 5 hours on Saturday or whatever, it's up to you.
Okay, so we've agreed that when that's ready, so that's ready in April, that goes live in April.
Yeah, it's starting on the 17th of April, and because we are as a whole group goes together through it, and we have someone who's also supporting, who's as people who have parts where they can engage with each other, where they can learn from each other, and we have also Future Learn has hired somebody to support everyone as well. So the group goes through it together. But for example, if you realize, okay, like in week 3 you're on holiday and you don't do anything, or you suddenly think, oh, I can now catch up and do week 1, 2, 3, this is also possible. So you can't go ahead because they will be released week by week. But if you kind of think, oh, I rather want to do it all in June, spend a week on it kind of, and do all 100 hours in one go, it's totally up to you when you do it. It's only that obviously if you want to get an assessment, as if you want to get your certificate at the end, you have to do the 100 hours somewhere and then get to the final point and do your assessment and pass it as well. Also you're not only allowed to sleep while you're letting your computer run things or something.
So, I will admit to doing a couple of those lectures, but not yours, not yours. I have a law lecturer that goes on. I'm just thinking, oh, I can't. Anyway, right. So what we're going to be doing, folks, is for your energy reduction, for our package that we're putting together, we will be sending more information to all the schools in England, and it is an energy monitoring package. You can choose the project management or not. You can get the kids to project manage it. We've partnered with an amazing team down in Melbourne in Australia, and we'll be talking with Edmund Lascaris about that aspect. It's all of the lessons and the training for the children to connect their Raspberry Pi to the Centrica energy managing system, and they can go through the reports and send us the data, and that data is going to go to Heriot-Watt University, where Professor Susan Crumdyke's team is going to be crunching the numbers. So everything works together. So we're going to be including the climate leadership training, Petra's climate leadership training with NTU, 10 credits towards a master's. We're going to be including the Edmund Lascaris's Smart Cities, small homes course and training in that. We're going to include Professor Susan Crumdyke's net zero transitioneering teacher training and all the schemes of work, and more than 200 plus climate education training courses, CPD certified. You can't get anything better than that. And we're going to be including something called the Green Skills for Now Jobs and Skills Fairs, if your school wants one, where we will be connecting local businesses and national and international businesses with your pupils so that they can introduce them and talk to them about bursaries, scholarships and apprenticeships for the net zero skills and the green skills work that they are looking for. So those jobs are there. We just want to connect you and your pupils directly with them and your communities. So we've got a whole lot going on. Energy reduction advisory. You've met Petra. There is nobody like Petra. She's the only one that I know that delivers the carbon literacy training that is just off the charts. If you're ever going to do carbon literacy training, Petra and I, that's the next course. Hey, Petra?
Yeah, okay, good.
That's what we're going to create.
Yeah, and it's not only me. I have my fantastic colleague Fiona Winfield, who will be also there, and we have interviewed lots and lots of people, as I already mentioned, the producer from Coronation Street, but loads and loads of other people who you will meet throughout. We have actually someone who's running a restaurant in there and all sorts of things. We have also, yeah, and we have a school in as well, no, Melanie? We don't want to
give it all away, Petra. Right.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I want to thank you so very much for joining us here. This is the Energy Reduction Advisory. You've met Professor Petra Molthan-Hill of Nottingham Trent University, and we look forward to you and your business managers, your estates teams, to all get in touch with us, and let's go forward, and we'll see you all on the other side. Thank you very much.
Okay, see you then. Bye.